Awesome. Well, it looks like we're live.
That's
Welcome
right.
to the podcast.
That's right. Welcome.
Yes, our first podcast where we figure out what exactly it is our podcast will cover.
Yeah, what we are doing.
Yeah, we have no idea really. But this weekend was a busy weekend. We
Very.
it was Bsides Detroit on Friday, which I'm gonna just count as the weekend,
That's
and
right.
then
Tech Town Detroit, baby.
Tech Town Detroit. That was my first time over in that area. Actually, that was cool.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been in that side of the city before, so that was a neat little experience.
Yes,
Some
for sure.
cool places over there, and then the after party was really awesome in downtown Detroit. They got this bar called Ready Player One. It was this really neat after party venue where it was just like a bunch of arcade machines and stuff like that. Really awesome. So the whole like team that put on B-Sides Detroit like did a fantastic job, really.
Yeah, they definitely did. All the
Yeah.
volunteers, everybody in general.
Yeah. And then what do you think your favorite talk was from B-Sides?
Oh, my favorite talk was your talk. And
Oh,
we're
I
gonna be.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I wasn't leading up to, I wasn't trying to, have a leading question there, but I'll take it.
Yes, no, that was my definitely my favorite talk. Because most of the time I was sitting down networking with people and at the CTF 313.
Yeah,
But
the CTF was super cool. People were really, really into it. Like it
dude,
was,
that room was packed.
yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah, there was at
Um,
least like 40 people in there, it seemed like.
yeah, and all of them heads down in laptops, just like trying to do whatever the forensics challenges they had there this year.
Yes. And it
So
was interesting. So the people who won, it was a zipper pinch.
yeah, they win a lot of years.
Yeah, so what's interesting is I talked to them. Um, they were in the little, there's only two of them in the front,
Yep.
and they have one other guy who's remote who does it. Um, and he does it from home in Virginia,
Yeah.
which was pretty impressive. He's like, yeah, he carries the team. We looked at the scoreboard, and he was 60 points deep
Gnarly.
halfway through.
Yeah, they're a force to be reckoned with at those 313 CTFs for sure. I don't know if they play on any other ones, but that one I know they come out in force, Converge and B-Sides.
Oh yeah,
It's really cool to see. They're always on top of the scoreboard real fast.
yes.
And it
How,
doesn't even matter what kind of like challenges is that year. Like most of the time they're still at the top. Like whether it's like a forensics heavy one or a crypto heavy one, like it doesn't matter. It's really interesting.
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I can't remember what company they were with, but
No idea. No idea.
they're all coworkers, which is really cool.
Nice. That's a great way to like do something with your coworkers and like do like a bonding exercise, like being able to
Exactly.
like just win CTFs. It's great.
Destroy it. Yeah, another company I saw there was eScript. eScript. They sent a few of their red teamers
Oh,
as a team, and I think they got like third or fourth place. Don't quote
nice.
me on it.
No worries. That's cool though.
Yes,
And
very. How about
then
yourself? What was your favorite talk?
I really the keynote was good, obviously. Like that was
Yes.
just enjoyable. But I honestly had like I was kind of surprised by I think it was iOS forensics, his talk on just like the different like social media like tactics that it was a rough topic, but it was effectively um in different situations how spouses can use tech to basically abuse the tech in order to like keep track of a spouse and like kind of an iffy situation there where one spouse is trying to leave the other, and it was a really interesting talk. Like I had never kind of like thought about the technology implications from that side, like those family show you like where you are all the time on your iPhone thing. What is it like? Family sharing, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like it
Find My
was,
iPhone.
yeah, it was
Google
really interesting
Friends.
to like hear all the different like ways effectively that one can be tracked. And I learned definitely some new ones. So that was a really, really good talk, I think.
Yeah, no, that whole topic is just very interesting. The whole tracking and like, especially with iPhones, you can do the whole Friends app, and
Yeah.
you can essentially share your location with a whole bunch of friends, and everybody knows your location. Or Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat, they have location. Most people don't even realize it's on, and
Yeah.
as soon as they snap a picture, they can be tracked, which is a pretty interesting topic. I wish I got to sit down and listen to that one. That's interesting.
Yeah. I know they're recorded. I don't know exactly if they're up on YouTube or not yet, but there was a lot of, I think, good talks.
Yes.
Infinite's purple, was it fireless malware for purple teamers? That was another good talk. I hope.
Yes.
I only caught the last half of it, so I definitely want to catch the first half of it. So I really hope those are posted on YouTube eventually.
Yeah, I think they said that they were going to submit it within like a week. I think that
Gotcha.
was the timeline.
I think Tibbs is in charge of that, so I'll just yell at him in a
There
week
you
and be
go.
like, "Where is it, Tibbs?"
Yes, but did you get to participate in the CTF?
I did not.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just kind of just talking with everyone. It was really like a good conference just to like catch up with people from the Michigan security community. And so I just decided to take advantage of like people that were in town. I wanted to talk to them, old professors, friends, just like random people. Like the opportunity for networking there is just like so great that I just decided not to play the CTF this conference. But I know that that group does a great CTF. So
Yes.
and it was like some like interesting topics with all of the kind of like forensics that they had. So I think those would have been really cool challenges. But again, talking with people was definitely the way to go. I think for this conference,
Yeah, I
at
love
least
the
for
fact
me.
that it was cyberpunk themed.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my favorite.
And then null space, how he had like the you saw his glasses with
Yep.
the the text that was like scrolling across it. That was so cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a pair of those myself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know Ryan wouldn't. He was
Yeah.
talking about that. He wanted a pair of those.
Yeah, he's always wearing sunglasses.
That's right, the Shades guy.
Exactly, exactly. So start having like a more tech themed, get some scrolling text.
Exactly. But what about the did you see the workshop, the resume workshop that they set up? Harman International did?
I I think we were talking about this earlier, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
What
no,
are they
I
doing?
just they were pretty much just taking anybody in who was interested in um, uh, editing their resume and working on their interview skills. And pretty much what they did is just kind of scrutinized and went over everything and helped train people on some of their skills. And actually, some people I talked to afterwards said they really enjoyed it and they ended up editing a few things on the resume,
That's
um,
awesome.
which I think is really cool. The fact that they included that, especially with how many college kids were there.
Yeah, for real. There was a lot of different colleges that were representing at B-sides. It was really cool actually.
Yeah, there were so many.
It was, yeah, so I think having the resume workshop was a great idea on the organizer's part.
Yes, no, definitely was. Especially Harman International. They're very, at least from what I've heard, they're very. It's a very hard company to get into. They're like Google or Facebook when it comes to their interview process. It's uh, very technical and
Nice.
very specific. But
Yeah, those are definitely good people to check out your resume and critique it.
exactly.
Nice.
I think it was a great event though. Everything just in general, from the CTF, seeing all the hackers just going to town,
Yeah.
just like the movies,
Yeah.
and
And
a
then the
lot.
one track like conference I think was really kind of like cool, especially it being in like that main area. Like while there was like
Yeah.
other people like, around and talking, it was kind of like a cool environment. And everyone was like really interested in those main talks basically because that was the only talks that was there. So I had really good attendance. So
Yes.
I think that was a really smart choice on their end.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, you know, they had a little bit of a hiccup because of the fact that I guess the original place they were going to set it all up in, the auditorium room.
Yeah.
It ended up having some issues, and they did some network upgrades, and the fire door came down, so they had to move it all out to the atrium. And I think that was honestly the best thing they could have done because
Yeah.
everybody had to kind of walk past the talk and maybe stopped. I saw a few people stop midway instead of going all the way out, or um, I just think there was a lot more engagement besides being in a separate room.
Yeah, definitely. It like merged hallway con and regular con into one con. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So it was like kind of cool in that way.
Yes, and it wasn't that hard to see or hear, and I thought it was really cool because the glass window, so everybody
Oh
saw us
yeah.
sitting there, and they were like, "Ooh, what are these people doing in here?"
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was cool. So I'm really excited for another Convergent B-sides next year.
Yes,
Just it's my favorite.
I'm excited cause they're supposed to be Converge next year, right?
Yep, every year.
Yes, that's what I'm excited to go to that. I haven't been to that yet.
Oh, well, that's a good one. Same people that run B-Sides, run Converge, do a great job.
Yes, which Bsides was amazing. Everybody
Yeah.
that was running it really pulled
Yeah,
out the
definitely.
stops. And lunch was amazing. Did you get
Oh,
lunch?
yeah. The pizza choice was fantastic.
I mean, I sorry, I just gotta shout that out because most of the time you go to conferences and there's no good food,
Right.
and that food was amazing.
Yeah. Solid choice.
Yes. But did you meet anybody new? Anybody that you haven't seen in a while? Any good stories?
Hmm. I think, I guess like one interesting story, I guess was like kind of a question that was posed to me after my talk. So my talk was on serverless IDS, and effectively it was just like a natural progression of a previous talk that I did at MySec Southfield on do-it-yourself network-based intrusion detection systems.
Yes, I
So
watched that.
yeah, so instead of doing all the processing on the host, I was going to do the basic IDS logic processing using serverless, using Google Cloud Functions in this case. And after like using all these different cloud offerings for the logging, for the serverless, for the actual like compute to run the web server, um, etc. I was asked by one of my old professors, effectively, like, what are people missing when they're using these clouds, managed services? Like, what's what are the things that they're missing when they're like basically running the commands to set these things up on like bare metal? And it was like an interesting question because like I can definitely like it's kind of a leading question, you know,
Hmm.
um, but I can definitely understand like there'd be an argument where like people are missing out on like more traditional hardcore Linux administration, but I think there's like a serious advantage to not having to deal with like where the logs are necessarily going or like how they're being globally distributed, how that load balancing is happening, how all the back pressure is happening on like the client side thing with fluentd. Like not knowing how all that works can come back to bite you, but the fact that I can sort of just like write some terraform code and start plugging and playing all these different lego pieces together, I start getting like a lot of serious advantages that like I just wouldn't get if I were to effectively like do it all myself. Like I wouldn't get there as fast. And in many cases, I'm paying less when I'm just using the cloud services as they are. Usually, like they have free tiers. As long as I'm staying under that free tier, I'm getting a lot of advantages and effectively not paying any money to like have another, set of VMs up to run my Elasticsearch cluster. If I just use Stackdriver logging, I have 50 gigs a month. And that's like plenty for the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's something that I do like about the cloud, especially just in the fact that we actually went over this, um, what yeah today and yesterday, about how easy it is really to set up Terraform, Packer, all those different things in
Yeah.
the cloud, just in GCP, right? And have a fully running competition environment, having web server up and running, using the um, Google function, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just having that ability to be able to kind of plug and play, I think opens a new role for like cloud, like a cloud admin aspect, right?
Yeah.
And having it just be very specific to just being a specialized in pretty much just setting it up and running with that, and then somebody on the back end would more than likely be like Google, because
Yeah.
cloud's like the future, and
Definitely. A
you've
lot
always
of
said that.
organizations are moving to cloud. Um, and in reality, like a lot of the times, it's just like more operationally simple in many cases to set these things up, and like you get like this like crazy amount of velocity behind you as soon as you're having to do things all over the world and have web servers the closest place to your client or the connections that are being made to your web server. Like there's just a lot of advantages because there's so many different data centers that are hosted by these cloud providers, whether it's Azure or Amazon or Google, you know. And I really enjoy Terraform as the interface and where to actually like interface with those cloud providers. And there's other resources that Terraform can build out, but just in general, like I'm having a lot of like, success and a lot of fun, quite frankly, using Terraform to manage those things. And I could manage a local vSphere cluster thingy mabob with Terraform too. But right now, just the advantages I'm getting from using these cloud providers, like just like we were doing today, Nate and I are building out a basically an attack and defense environment using Google Cloud, where you have two different teams. You can have more teams, but two different teams and a scoring engine. And the teams have their own VPC, they have their own VMs, and they have these services they need to score. And you have the scoring engine set up so you can point it to the IPs and the ports, and basically it'll have a little graph that'll show how many points those services have gotten based on how long they've been up. And so, like, well, there were some problems, some hiccups that we ran into. Usually just like human error more than anything else. um,
Ports.
we, yeah, exactly. We were able to get something up and running, and it. We were like pricing it out and to run something for one of the conferences that we basically deal with, YoloCon, which is a student-led conference at Eastern Michigan University. If we wanted to run a CTF, that would cost us $26, and we would get a bunch of VMs. We would get built-in monitoring, logging. Like that's a crazy good price in my opinion.
Yes, it
So
is. Would you mind if I showed the kind of just the browser?
yeah,
All right, so I can edit out obviously the IP address and stuff like that later, but I'll just put it up here. So this is essentially like our work in progress, obviously, but we have team one and team two, um, which both of them are scoring was every 30 seconds or a minute?
yeah, every minute.
Every minute. So just this is kind of you know what we were working on earlier today. We'll go more in depth in it in the future,
Yeah,
but that's just the beginning. So, but no, I think the cloud's the way to go, especially after seeing and hearing it from you, and really just kind of sitting down and understanding what it is instead of looking at, I think that people just have that idea of cloud as this big object that nobody knows about realistically, right?
mm,
Like nobody takes the time to really sit down and say, okay, this is what the cloud is. It's super easy, super simple. You don't have to be the super program engineer, computer engineer. You don't have to have 4 degrees. You don't need to be experienced for the past 10 years with cloud. You just have to be able to pretty much look at some documentation and be willing to learn, and you'll be able to get the cloud and understand it very
yeah,
very easily and quickly.
yeah, definitely. And I think you know for certain use cases, on-prem definitely wins.
Yeah,
But for like a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now, like it's just I think the right move in order to just like use the cheap compute costs that are available to us, especially because we don't need it on all the time. Most of the times we need it on for like at most maybe 8 hours, and then we turn that off once a month.
yeah,
So just the cost savings are incredible compared to just like us having to buy a new server
it
out of like
is.
club funds or have them donated by someone. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah,
And just the fact, and Google gives you $300 worth of credit. I mean,
yeah,
being a student, getting $300 worth of Google Cloud credit, you could host your own website um, for free for the
yeah.
entire year just through
Yeah, you don't
GC.
even need to even spend the $300 if you
No,
use just like cloud functions to like make a simple HTTP handler that like served up a web page.
yep,
Like that'll cost you nothing, and you have 2 million invocations before that starts costing you pennies even.
exactly.
Um,
And that's 2 million hits. That's a lot of
yeah,
hits.
that's way more than you're going to be getting.
Exactly. I mean, unless you start, on Amazon or,
Yeah,
but more than likely for a small website, I mean, you could post a blog, everything for
yeah.
free.
Well, when we set that up yesterday, it was like literally like we had set up an HTTP. We used Go, and
Yep.
we just like did it all through the web GUI, and it took less than a minute. And we had HTTPS. We had a globally available URL we could point DNS records to. Like that's solid. That's super solid.
Yes, I think it was pretty incredible. I didn't know that that was a thing, but that was definitely something that I really like. Um, but I think we should kind of maybe focus on the cloud and have like a full topic designated to the cloud in the
Yeah,
future. Maybe bring
Maybe
some
have a
people.
panel.
Exactly, bring some people who work with the cloud every day. So yeah, let us know if you think that's a good idea to work and do like a cloud-based podcast and bring some people who are in the industry, some people who are still in school that are using cloud services, and just kind of talk about the differences and what they like about it.
Definitely. I think that'd be really cool. And then it'd be maybe even awesome to have like a panel of people that are pro cloud and people
Yeah,
that are not pro cloud.
exactly. Like
And then see what the garbage fire, beholds.
that's right. That's right. I'll even put as a for the background, I'll put two different teams on each side with a little fire pit in the middle.
Definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, I mean B-sides though. Come back to B-sides.
Yes.
It's B-sides was incredible. The amount of people I met there. I met at least. I mean, it's not even the fact that I just met people. I put people's names to their faces, even though I'm
Yeah.
terrible with names.
Like Tom.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like Tom from Lawrence Tech, he was there. I literally, listen to this. I'm going through the conference, about 4 or 5 hours in, and I'm like, I know this guy. I just got to go up to him
Yeah.
eventually, right? So I end up going up to him at the very end. And I'm like, how do I know you? I was like, why do I know you? That's the real question. I feel like I know you from somewhere. And he goes, well, do you watch YouTube? And I was like, no way. And it's just crazy the fact that, um, you you can meet these people at these conferences and not even realize they are who they are. Like I
Yeah.
would have think he was super tall and he was the same height as me. You know, and he was just a super chill guy. And then same with Infinite, he was there as
Yeah.
well.
Infinite's so cool.
Dude, they both are. They're both amazing. Infinite actually, I might as well just throw this out there for B sides. He does DC 313. Highly recommend going to check it out. It's
Definitely.
a little club he started for penetration testers and stuff. I'd love to have him on. That'd be sweet to have them both on.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get him on.
Definitely.
Both of them.
Exactly. Yes. But no, I think that was very interesting to me. Like the fact that I met somebody that I kind of looked up to in middle school and high school. I watched his videos religiously,
Yeah.
and he just came out of nowhere. I kind of did a little fangirl, fanboy type
Yeah.
type reaction there.
They definitely. It's like, oh man, you taught me PF Sense.
Exactly. Exactly. Which I guess he said this is like number one video
Yeah,
is
yeah. Like as soon
firewalls.
as, if I'm not mistaken, as soon as you look up PF Sense on YouTube, he is like one of the first people to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just saw it. Yeah, I see Tom's face. Yes.
But
2018 getting started at PF Sense 2.4 from install to secure Lawrence Systems.
that's right.
Heck
He's
yeah.
absolutely incredible. Both of
Oh
them are
yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah. Like there's so many good resources, so many good videos from that YouTube channel.
Yes,
Like
it is incredible. We'll put the link in the description.
yeah, we'll definitely put a link to the Lawrence Systems, but people
Yes.
probably already know it. Like, it's so popular
Yes, I
in
hope
terms of
they
just like
do.
technology.
Oh, I hope they do.
Or if they haven't, like they can't like put the name, with the those things together. Like if they look at the YouTube channel, they'll probably be like, oh yeah.
Listen, not everybody uses Google to search
Oh,
things.
I mean, like what? What? How did you even find this? Like, how much does this come up on Yahoo?
Yeah, it came up on DuckDuckGo. That's what it came
Oh,
up on.
got binged.
We got binged.
Got the bing.
I got 60 Bing points right now.
Do you have any points on Bing?
I do not know.
Oh man.
I heard you used to win. You were able to win free
Yeah.
money back in the day,
Yeah. Trying to pay people who use the service.
which is just hilarious.
Reverse cloud sort of thing.
Yep,
They're paying you.
exactly. Um, Man, but any other takeaways from B-sides that you would say that you
Um,
really liked? Didn't like anything you didn't like about B-sides?
I don't think there's anything I really didn't like about it. I think just like one of the another good one, there was the forensics in the cloud and another cloud topic, but that's from B-sides. And I
Okay,
think that was a really interesting kind of like take. So like I've done some forensic stuff in the cloud before. And yeah, he basically said, it's just like normal forensics, but there's like these different APIs you have to call, or there's these different tools that you have available to you. But if you need memory, you do memory acquisition. You need a disk, you usually like, copy the disk in the Google Cloud instead of like making a copy from a disk on like a physical host. So there's a lot of these one-to-ones that exist. Like you can even like mount a actual like drive as read only. Same things you would do in like a normal situation, like without the cloud.
Yeah.
So I think in those cases, it was just like a really great one-to-one that he was showing, and he was showing in the three major clouds how that worked. And I think it was actually kind of funny, just as a Google Cloud fanboy, a little bit. Um, he mentioned how like Google Cloud was like super easy to use, and he was just like besides himself, like, and he even like mentioned the Cloud Shell, which is another Google Cloud product that I really love and use all the time. So I think that was just like a good affirmation for me. It was just like, yes, yes, yeah.
Yes, you are the king of cloud. The biggest promoter for cloud is definitely you, for sure.
It's good. It's good. I've spent some money. But you know, I haven't had to buy any servers yet.
Yeah, that's a big difference in price, for sure. Big difference.
Yeah.
So
I think
Mac,
the most I've spent in Google Cloud has been like, I think in total it's been $500 because I went over my $300 limit, and then I've like spent some money and had like one public project for a little bit, and so I ended up spending a little bit of money, and I haven't spent over $30 in a few months now, but I think in general that's pretty good. That's like two Chromebooks, one maybe okay laptop, you know,
yeah,
um, and the fact that like I got like to spin it up and spin it down on demand was really great.
yes, it most definitely was. That
So
was Matt Coons who did that, right? Yeah, Matt
yes,
Coons.
yes, Matt Coons from PwC.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
great
was
talk.
that was a great talk. Yeah, I loved. I really did love your talk. To be honest,
I appreciate
that was
it.
a
I
really good
appreciate
talk.
it.
I don't mean to
Eventually,
just.
eventually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the next iteration of that talk. So it's going to be funny. So I showed like the advantage of serverless,
Yes.
especially for like a lot of my like hobby projects, like honeypots and stuff like that. Like serverless IDS is perfect. Like that whole like real time pipeline is perfect and free for me to use. But let's say I got a little enterprisey. Let's say I started having like so I was doing network packet capture, and I'd get a packet every now and then, and that's why the serverless thing was actually like cost effective because I wasn't constantly running cloud functions. I was only running it when I needed to.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a server that was up all the time and constantly getting traffic, there would be eventually a point that I would cross where running serverless may not make any sense, and it may be more cheaper
Hmm.
for me to effectively just run a dedicated compute resource using something like Nomad.
Yeah.
And Nomad is a way for me to use multiple servers and schedule jobs to them, and I could basically even use something called OpenFast, Open Functions as a Service, to still get that function serverless like feel, but on hardware that I own and I control, and I can manage the cost much better because there's sort of a no questions asked policy that happens in cloud functions or most serverless runtimes. And if you accidentally go over and you don't have any budget alerting set up, you can spend a pretty penny because there's no way to easily set these limits on these requests, or at least none that I found. So I've definitely done the pricing before, and realized that there was this weird inverse point that happens at a certain scale.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they even sort of allude to that in not the documentation, but just like in different videos where they talk to you about when it's appropriate to use serverless. They're usually like, if there's like this like one off thing that happens in a website, or you're like filling in like an image content, or doing these like kind of like low key things, these like very like small bits of logic, perfect serverless. But an IDS, you start adding more rules, you start needing to take up more memory. Um, Again, there's just this certain point where it actually makes more sense to have a dedicated compute resources to do these things. Or at least that's sort of my theory that I have so far. And so I want to do the next iteration of running it in that kind of system. So basically, like going back to running on servers, making
Makes
the full
sense.
loop.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could definitely see, obviously when you start adding more rules and just utilizing more memory and all those different things,
Yeah. Or
that
just
it
having
could.
more packets. You know what I mean? Like if I had a thing that was being constantly hit, or let's say it got hit with a bunch of connections from, Hacker News, or, someone was really bad and hit me with it's a distributed denial of service for some reason, and just like constantly hammered.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I'd never do that to you. No, never, never.
well, like yeah, well, like you wouldn't even maybe know, you know what I mean? So it'd just be like, how do you set up these rate limits on this thing that's just supposed to scale infinitely? Like that's not really part of the game there. It's again a no questions asked sort of scaling, and
Yeah,
that can be very dangerous because you know maybe I want to control how much I'm paying, even if it's going
exactly.
to be expensive. I still want to control that.
Yeah, no, for sure. You don't want to just spend a ton of money for
Yeah.
when
Because
you
it may
could.
not even be like what something you think happened. It could just be, someone decides to make an infinite curl request to your website, infinitely, and or make like who knows what kind of setup someone could accidentally use your website for.
Yep,
So you got to be careful.
have to be careful.
And there's other serverless runtimes that are available from Google, like App Engine could be a decent one to use. And you can like limit the amount of resources that are going to run concurrently. So there may be some like benefits to using other different types of serverless runtimes, but I don't know. There's definitely some fun playing around I have to do to try to optimize, for different experiences. It's a lot of fun.
It is for sure. I love. I'm starting to love the cloud. I mean, at first I was kind of against it because I didn't understand it. But
Yes.
now realizing how easy it is to really use, it's the way to go. And
Uh huh.
honestly, what's funny is I host my website currently um, through a third-party company, and I spend what is it? I spend about $35 for 3 months on limited host. I mean, limited domains with a decent amount of storage. I think it's a terabyte of storage for the website.
Okay.
It gives you emails and all those different things, and that's separate storage as well.
Mhm.
Um, and I get that for, like that said, $35 for 3 months, and that's not bad. But I don't get that many hits. The most hits that or majority of the hits that I'm getting are um, bot hits.
Yeah.
Just bots or even malicious hits. Can't tell you how many places I've had. Iran, Poland,
Oh
Russia,
yeah, yeah,
China,
yeah.
so many different places just hitting it. So I almost think that I would honestly be saving money, but I don't know how much money I would really be saving if I switched it to Google Cloud. You know?
Yeah. Well, the cloud functions again, the 2 million thing that'd be free.
Exactly. Which I mean, so I got the website itself got I think 15 or 1.5 million hits in a month what I was averaging.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that would change being on a Google Cloud server, if I need to do some filtering for the traffic that's coming in, because there's just a lot of bots and a lot of things like that that are
Yeah, and certain bots will hit like different IP ranges.
yeah,
Like other cloud provide, like for example, in some of the default cloud VMs, they'll have like SSH guard and things like that set up to prevent certain brute force attempts. So sometimes it's less advantageous to hit those IP ranges.
hmm
But like other cloud providers may not be enforcing that by default. So it'll be much more advantageous to brute force those because they won't try to stop you right away.
yeah, which I'm almost thinking that would probably minimize the traffic or bring it down a lot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm game to move the website. I'm working on a few more websites currently, so I'm probably gonna end up moving that to the function in Google Cloud.
See how that goes.
Yes, I will definitely report back on that
Oh yeah, we'll definitely round back to that topic.
for sure. I do want to talk though about the first talk, which is the keynote
Yeah.
talk. By Matt Johnson, and his talk was called "Communal Benefits: How to Hack Your Career While Making Friends."
Yes.
And I think that was a really good talk, just because, um, personally, a lot of things he hit or said, hit me in different spaces, like some things I already knew, and there's a lot of things I didn't know. Um, and I think that just him talking about the fact of how he got to where he was by taking risk,
Yeah.
and
The jump off the cliff, you know.
exactly jump off the cliff, yeah, and obviously being part of Detroit MySec, um, I think that's something that is very key, especially in this community. Is just like having community, right?
Hmm.
Most
Hmm.
industries, like you go to an engineering, um, like for an automotive engineer, my uncle's one of those for Ford, and they don't really have a community like we do. They go home and
Right.
do nothing. They hang out with their family. Like we do that, but we also stay in touch with everybody
Yeah.
and connect with people and go out and have drinks or have fun.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a certain interesting sort of like community that happens in our hacker spaces that's
yes,
like feels unique. I mean, I'm sure it's not like totally unique. I'm sure there's other fields that have that, but like I don't know those fields, and so it feels really unique to me. Yeah.
exactly. No, for sure. And I honestly agree with you on that aspect. Is the fact that it feels like we're very close knit, very close, just in
Yeah.
general. But I think that no, his hack was
He had a lot of great advice. So once
yes.
that's posted on YouTube, I think that's definitely one to check out.
Yes, it is a great one. Um, but yeah, I think besides that, I mean, all the other talks were great. Fortunately, I didn't get to see them. So if you spoke and I didn't get to see it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was not a bad talk. I did not see any bad talk. I did not hear about a bad talk,
I did not
anything like
either.
that. There was just certain talks I didn't get to go to because I was busy talking to other people.
Exactly. And I got to do the lock picking
Yeah, I didn't
on
try
the
that
village.
because I'm not good at it, and I know I'm not good at it, and I haven't, dedicated any time to get better at it, so I don't try in public. But there was a neat little tip that started helping people. So like, you put your tension bar in and then you put your pick in, right?
Yep.
People were pressing really, really hard down on the tension bar or the tension rod, whatever it's called, who knows.
Yeah, the tensioner.
Yeah, that they were pushing really hard down, and Brett, who runs My Sex Southfield,
Yes.
Brett Hansen, he gave him a tip. He was like, if you can see the indent in your thumb, then you're pressing too hard. And so I remember at least two people like, almost right away were like, oh, that's the best tip I was ever given. And people are starting to like, pick these locks in like very little effort. It was really cool to see. Like once that tip kind of got like floated in the air, how many people it helped.
Yeah, and I think that goes not even just for the lockpicking village or just lockpicking in general. I think it goes for everything having to do with this
Oh,
industry.
that's super meta. Okay,
You
I
know what I'm
like it.
saying?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Just in the aspect that if you sometimes you gotta take a break, or kind of loosen up a little bit, and then you'll
Hmm.
find the solution. Especially like you today, when we were working on that
Figuring out that
competition
scoring
environment.
engine.
Yeah, you took a few breaks to kind of relax and just eat
Yeah.
some food and kind of think, and that
That
really
was a
helps you.
delicious sandwich. Oh, that was such a good sandwich.
That Philly cheesesteak.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Homemade Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I didn't even see it coming, and like, just comes set in front of me. Oh, what a treat! What a treat!
Yes, but just in general, I think that's a good.
Sidetrack. Let's think about that sandwich.
That sandwich was, obviously
Yeah,
it,
you
it
only heard
sounded
about
good. Yeah, it
it.
sounded
Yeah.
good. But no, I think that's definitely something that to take away for
Yeah,
everything.
definitely. You can't be pressing too hard there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
But you
you
still got to
just
put
can't.
some tension. There's still a little tension that needs to be put. Just a
Yeah.
little bit. Just enough.
You
Yeah.
are right. That is, but I got
We're gonna have to tell
I
Brett that.
exactly. Um, we surprisingly, I did really well at lockpicking, and I haven't lockpicked since middle school when I had
Mm,
um, gone to just like this. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was just like a little IT convention uh, at the Kobo,
okay.
um, and they had a lockpicking station, and that was the first time I ever lockpicked, and I haven't lockpicked since. And I picked up, and I just was good to go, surprisingly. And it's crazy.
Picked it back up.
Yeah. uh, um,
Sorry.
what's really surprising is Flaws was talking about this, um, about the fact that he set up some of the locks that we were picking,
Okay.
and one of them was on his house before he moved in, and that lock was the easiest lock to pick.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
which is so surprising. And then he said he bought just the cheap, you know, 10 $20 lock, from your hardware store, and that was the second easiest one to pick,
Huh.
which is surprising because those have usually 5 to 6 pins in them, maybe even more compared to like the 3 pins. And the three
Mhm.
pin Chinese locks, those ones I opened, and it took me probably about 15 minutes each
Hmm.
because they were not easy. But the standard door ones, I just was able to open up with ease.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Was it like the quality or something that was affecting it, or was it like just because it was like weird being less pins or something?
I honestly don't know. Maybe because it was smaller and harder to hold, because
Hmm.
they were kind of shaped like a submarine.
Weird.
The locks were, so it's a little bit different setup. But I just think it's interesting because you think about lockpicking, right? And you think about how easy it is for somebody just to come in your house or open up a door that's locked. It's just
Yeah.
so interesting how it's
Yeah.
just so
Physical
easy.
security. Yeah, is often overlooked. It seems.
Oh yes, physical. You know what? I really do want to do a talk on physical security. That
Yeah.
would be exciting for sure.
Yeah, for some reason, it's just not one of those like, for a lack of better words, like a sexy talk in terms of cybersecurity. People just don't want to hear about physical security sometimes, but like
Let's
that's
get
often the
physical.
time people are like just skipping out on, not paying attention to.
I mean, I'm just saying. Let's get physical, physical.
Cool. Yeah.
No, but besides that, I love that part. That was fun. I made a few friends there. I met a few people who have never actually been to B-Sides that came
Yeah,
because it was
there's
on
some new people
Eventbrite.
for sure.
Yes, um, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess we weren't. Was it Meetup before we were using? Now we're on Eventbrite. I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know what's
know.
happening.
All I know is that the one gentleman was like, I went on Eventbrite and was looking for like a concert or something to do over the weekend because he's not from here. He's
Hmm,
from outside of here. Um, so he was like, looking for something to do because he just moved here, and he ended up coming here, and
awesome.
he's in the industry.
Nice.
Yeah, he was really cool. Um, but that's I really do love B-Sides. It's was amazing,
Yeah.
and I really loved seeing um, just how many people were on my age there. And usually when I go to conferences, usually it's a lot of people that are older than me,
Yeah.
and with a good amount of space. And this year, obviously I brought a few friends, um, but there were some other people who were the
Yeah.
same age,
The
which was nice.
college kid game was strong. For
Strong
sure. For sure. Like very strong.
with the strong emoji.
Yeah. Yeah. Double muscles.
hmm Oh yes, it was definitely good.
Yeah. And I think next year it'll only be better.
Yeah, do you know how many people ended up turning out or coming out?
No, I didn't get any official numbers or anything like that, but it felt. Mm, I
Math
don't
is
want to.
hard.
Yeah, like because maybe I just don't know how to estimate, but it felt like 100, 150.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 150.
Yeah, felt like about that much. There were some people that like left, and then like some people that left early, and then some people that came late. Depending on like whatever their work schedule was. So it's
Yeah,
like not everyone was there all at the same time, but it was great. It was still great.
no, it really was. It really was, and it was cool to see some companies out supporting the small conference as well.
Yeah.
Besides, that was cool. And I love I just really love this. I have so the picture that's up on the screen right now. Um, they had stickers that were colored, and just like that, I grabbed me a few of those. Those are
I think that's a
mint.
tip. I think that's Tibbs on Canva, just like rocking out, making cool stuff.
It's well, if it's Tibbs, that's it's mint, mint.
Tibbs loves Canva, and I think Canva loves Tibbs because he makes cool stuff. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, I think I love Tibbs. Tibbs is great, great guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But he was the one that was doing the majority of the recording, if I'm not mistaken, during the conference, and he was doing a good job of it.
Yeah, so
Or
Tibbs
we'll
and Nolan.
see based on the recording. Well, we haven't seen it yet, so maybe he didn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna show up all
We'll
buffering.
find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, I know Tibbs and Nolan
Yes.
were doing recording. They did a great job.
Was Nolan supposed to be, or did he just like volunteer at some point?
Yeah, so he volunteered beforehand,
Okay.
and he volunteered for that position.
Nice.
So
That's what you got to do at these conferences, like especially if you're new. Like volunteering is a great way to meet people. It's a great way, for people to know you. It's like who's doing the recording right now? What's your name? Nolan. Oh, okay. Shake your hand, stuff like that.
exactly.
So
Yep, and you get to have that
go
really
smart.
cool badge that says,
Yes.
staff.
At
You got a cool one. You got the one that says
the
speaker.
speaker, yeah.
Yes,
Yes. It's all about the speaker badges.
that's right.
Yeah,
To put them up in your room.
I got a couple. I got like a whole collection of, specifically I've been doing, I think I've only ever spoken in Michigan. So I have just a collection of Converge and Bsides and Gurkon, just speaker badges.
That's
And I really do enjoy collecting them.
yeah. I have I only have two badges currently. The Cyber Summit that was held in
I didn't
excuse
get
me.
to go to that one.
Yeah, that was held in Detroit at the Kobo Center.
Okay.
Um, that was really exciting. The kids I mentor got second place
Oh, that's awesome.
in the it's not the Cyber Patriot, the Governor's Challenge,
Awesome.
and that was really cool. Yes, it was good seeing them win and do stuff.
Yeah, it's always good to see people like, especially in like this community where like a lot of mentorship just sort of like just happens almost naturally in a way.
Yeah,
So it's always good to see people that you've helped at some point like go above and beyond and like do awesome things. It's the best,
it sure is.
the absolute best thing, honestly.
Oh, but that was the first one this year, and that's the first badge I have, and then my B-sides. My B-sides.
Yes.
We should did we introduce ourselves? Did we tell who we are?
I don't know if we did. I don't know how far we are.
We'll start
Um,
off.
yeah. Okay. So my name is Kent Pycat Gruber. Um, yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Kent at Kent Gruber, and on GitHub at PyCatZ. So PICATZ. And I have a lot of different like Ruby, Golang, stuff like that. Also like Terraform and stuff along those lines. I have a lot of that kind of code as well.
Approximately 173 repositories.
Some of those are forks. They're not all mine. I'm probably on like 80 repositories that are mine, I think. Yeah.
I think I have 5. I'm slacking. I
No,
am.
I'm just an addict. Like I have like too many stars. I'm really into GitHub.
Okay, okay. So are you itching right now because you're not on GitHub?
No, I'm not itching. No, because I did a lot of like that programming today for the scoring engine. I got a good lot of hours programming today. So
So you're good.
yeah, I'm good. Like I don't need any more green boxes right now.
All right. uh,
It's well saturated for me.
Good. Yeah, I bought a GitHub mug, that's got a fake, fake, um, uh, oh, I can't think of the word.
Contributor count?
Yeah, contributor count.
Nice.
It's the graph, the green graph.
Yeah. The little
Yeah,
boxes
yeah,
there.
and it's all green, and it looks really good. Boosts my confidence.
Nice.
Even though it's not me, but
I set up a Chrome extension that just has fake stats for you.
Exactly.
Fake stars.
Yep.
Even worse.
But okay, so yeah, so it's nice meeting you, Kent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My name is Nate or Nathaniel Ferguson, also known as Qantas. I can't believe I just said that out loud, but hey, we're gonna go with
Hacker handles. Hacker handles.
it.
Yes.
But you can find me on Twitter at QuantusIA. Somebody stole my name on
Yeah.
Twitter, so I had to add something to it.
Yeah, Twitter branding is a hard game.
It
I'm very
is
lucky I got just my name.
very true. But yeah, no, I am a student at Eastern Michigan University, and I am a part of the Information Assurance Student Association. It's a little club at our school, and we just hack stuff. I'm
Yeah.
interested in everything. I like to learn a little bit of everything. I like coding. I like uh, pen testing. I like CTFs, competing, research. Everything kind of tickles my fancy.
Yeah.
I have an itch for everything. As soon as somebody says infosec, I'm coming out of the bushes.
For sure though.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's good.
I think, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's good. Yeah, I'd at least we introduced ourselves
Yeah.
sometime in the
Yeah. At
podcast.
the very end.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
works.
Perfect time to introduce yourself. So
Exactly.
yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure we're gonna have another one. That's our goal. We're gonna try to do a weekly podcast, maybe
Yes.
more, depending on how crazy we are. But
Exactly.
yeah, we'll figure out exactly how this is gonna work and hopefully get better in the future. Again, thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yes, and I will have a better mic by next time.
Yeah,
So,
we'll get this sorted out.
all right,
All
y'all
right,
have a good one.
all right. See you.